When I was a kid, I'd watch my dog eat dry kibble off a paper plate and think, "Are you okay? I mean, are you bored of this?" He never said a word. Back then, I figured it was one of two things. Either he had nothing to say, or he'd already decided I wasn't worth talking to. Both options stung. But if the world's animals actually decided to speak up tomorrow, I suspect the answers wouldn't be as Disney as we'd like to think. Welcome to the script of a world where humans are no longer the only ones with a seat at the table. Picture a completely normal Tuesday. Alarm goes off. You hit snooze twice, standard procedure. You finally drag yourself up, and there's your cat, sitting on the dresser, giving you that look. You know the one. Then, it opens its mouth. You snore. Aggressively. Since 2:15 a.m., I haven't slept, and I need you to know that this is why I'm knocking your coffee off the counter later. It's not an accident. It's a statement. You haven't even had caffeine yet, and you're already being gaslit by a creature that doesn't pay rent. Welcome to the new reality where your pets have enough vocabulary to roast your life choices before breakfast. Cats have always had the attitude. Now they have the script. They're basically roommates who live rent-free, judge your dating life, and contribute absolutely nothing to the electric bill. The dog, though, that's a completely different kind of exhaustion. You go out to grab the mail, a 3-minute round trip, and you come back to a manic monologue. "Oh my God, you're alive! Do you know how long you were gone? I thought the front door ate you. I missed you yesterday. I missed you 10 minutes ago. I missed you in 2022. Remember that one time in the park? I missed you then, too." Unconditional love is a beautiful thing, but hearing it narrated in high definition, 24/7, I don't think any of us are emotionally ready for that level of sincerity at 7 in the morning. Okay, let's set the living room aside and look at the foundation. Humanity has spent thousands of years building civilization on the backs of livestock. Cows, pigs, chickens. That is a fact. Here's another. If those animals could talk, the first conversation between a farmer and a cow would be the single most awkward moment in recorded history. "Hey, Dave, what exactly is the endgame here?" "Well, it's for the milk. Mostly. You know, nutrients. And after the milk? After the milk, Dave, what happens?" The farmer is now looking sideways at his neighbor. The neighbor is suddenly very interested in a fence post. The whole operation is suddenly extremely busy doing nothing. The problem with this hypothetical isn't just the dark comedy. It's that it forces us to face the one thing our entire civilization has spent centuries carefully avoiding. Can we justify what we do out loud to the party involved? With people, we're pros. We spin. We hire lawyers to wrap the truth in fine print and documentation. But a cow doesn't care about global supply chains. A cow only understands a simple binary. We are standing here together. You just answered my question, and the math isn't adding up. Our entire food industry was built on one unspoken condition. The other party doesn't get a voice. The day that condition disappears, the therapy industry is going to have its biggest year in human history. Pets are complicated. Wild animals? That's a geopolitical nightmare. Take dolphins. We already know they use signature whistles. Essentially names. Each individual develops a unique call to address others directly. They have names, actual names. No Congress yet, but at minimum, a functioning social directory operating 40 feet underwater. Add long-term memory and complex pod structures, and you've got a civilization. They're just missing real estate and DoorDash. Now, give them English. Where does the first summit between the human delegation and the cetacean delegation even take place? Who leads the talks? We'd like to discuss reparations for 200 years of sonar pollution and engine noise. The UN representative is currently choking on their bottled water. Also, the plastic bags. Stop it, right now. We've eaten enough to-go containers to open our own franchise. It's tacky, and it's killing us. It sounds like a sketch, except they are completely, objectively right. And when your opponent is right, and you have no counter-argument, you have exactly one move left. Sit there and take it. It's like a board of directors being audited by someone who literally cannot be bribed. But look, it's not all guilt and depositions. In the middle of all that chaos, there would be something genuinely beautiful. Elephants have spatial and emotional memory we're still trying to map. They navigate migration routes passed down across generations. They remember water sources through droughts that lasted for years. And they remember loss returning to the spot where a herd member died, sometimes decades later, just to pause. Not out of habit, out of grief. If an elephant could speak, I wouldn't ask about the weather. I'd ask, how do you carry all of that? Where does it live in your body? Aren't you afraid of forgetting? Or migratory birds. Thousands of miles every year, no GPS, no maps, no one leading the way. They're guided by magnetic fields and solar positions wired into their biology over millions of years. I'd want to sit down with a barn swallow and ask, how was the flight? Were you scared? What goes through your head when you're alone over a pitch-black ocean at 3 a.m.? And the bird would probably look at me like I was making it incredibly complicated. I fly because I have to. There's nothing to fear. It's just flying. And in that moment, I'm the one with nothing to say. This is the part I've been avoiding, because it's not funny. If animals could talk, then the ones we've pushed to the brink could talk too. The northern white rhinoceros. There are 2 left in the world. 2 individuals, 1 entire species. Both female. Both unable to reproduce naturally. Scientists are working around-the-clock embryos, IVF, real effort. But in the wild, the story has almost closed. This species is essentially sitting in a waiting room while we race the clock in a lab. If one of them looked you directly in the eyes and spoke, I don't know what she'd say. Maybe nothing. Maybe the look would be enough. Some things don't get heavier when spoken out loud. They just get clearer. And sometimes, clarity is enough to keep you up at night. Humanity has built every civilization we have on a quiet, unexamined assumption that we are the only species with enough standing to make decisions for this planet. That assumption has never been challenged because the other side never had a voice. The question, what if animals could talk, is really a different question, a deeper one. If they had a voice, would we actually listen? And I think the honest answer doesn't depend on whether they can speak. It depends on us, on whether we have the courage to put the phone down, cut the noise, and pay attention to something that isn't using words but is saying something very, very loud. My neighbor's dog, all those years ago. The way he looked at me when I asked what he was thinking. Maybe he was saying everything I needed to hear. Maybe I just wasn't quiet enough to listen. See you next time for another dive into questions with no comfortable answers.